Thank you, Mr. Leader. Thanks to all of you for being here. It's great to see a good crowd here in Florida for our annual House Republicans Issues Conference, 2026 conference, and it's a really important time for us. We're grateful to the Congressional Institute for hosting this opportunity each year, and it couldn't be more important than it is right now. So among the issues at the Issues Conference, of course, we're talking about the policy and what our agenda will be for the remainder of this year, and of course the politics as well, and how all this blends together. And I know you all have inquired about our agenda going forward, and we're finalizing the plans. I use football metaphors a lot, as you know. I'm an LSU guy, and we have a big playbook of plays, and as a team, we are corralling together for the next couple of days to try to make the final plan on which plays we're actually going to run in the remaining quarters of this game. Did I extend the metaphor far enough? That's where we are, okay? It's a very important time. To put it simply, in a very straightforward manner, our mission, our game plan is obvious, and that is that we have to defy history and grow our majority, which we will do, and we've got to continue saving the country. House Republicans are working hand in hand with President Trump and his administration to bring down the cost of living for hardworking American families. We have done an extraordinary amount of work in that regard, and there is much more work left to do, and so that's what we work on every day. And this team is committed to that resolve. And defying history to win the majority is not a simple task, but it is one that we will do. And you have to remember, because all of you track this and you report on it, you keep the progress reports, this House Republican majority has defied expectation and historical trends and conventional thought virtually every single day that we've been governing. And we will do it again. It would be a very foolish thing to vote against us. That's my advice to you, okay? This is a contrast election, and we're really excited about that because the contrast is as stark as it has ever been. There is a wide chasm between these two political parties. This is not your father's Democrat Party, as we say all the time. This party is run by Marxist, open socialists, the far-left insurgent politicians and the activist base, and they're pushing the party all the way over the edge. And they've left America behind. When we say a contrast election, we say it very simply, as the President said it so well and so clearly at the State of the Union. This is a contest between normal and crazy, between common sense and crazy. And we have lots of examples. I mean, you could go down the list to look at all the issue sets. I was just taking notes in our last session and everything that everybody brought up in the upcoming election. The question that we ask to every voter in every district around America is, do you want to elect a party that will secure the borders or reopen the borders wide to allow dangerous criminal illegal aliens and known terrorists to come into the country and set up sleeper cells? Do you want to cut your taxes? You want to elect a party that will continue to reduce your taxes, bigger paychecks and bigger tax refunds? Or do you want to elect the party that will raise your taxes, as they've vowed to do? And, by the way, applauded for themselves at the State of the Union. The only time the Democrats stood up and applauded themselves at the State of the Union was for their vote to raise your taxes. Do you want to vote for the party that is going to secure the cities of this country and towns, or the party that stands for policies that increase crime? Do you want to vote for the party that will secure elections, or the party that will undermine our system? Do you want to vote for the party that will protect women and girls' sports, or the party that wants to bring men back into those arenas? Do you want to vote for the party that will protect children, or the party that wants to return to transgender mutilation surgery for children? These are the choices. It is a choice election. It is a contrast election, again, between common sense that the Republicans have demonstrated and work for every day, or, frankly, crazy. I think we know where the American people are. Democrats have put up a fight and tried to stop us, but despite having the smallest majority in modern congressional history, with all the challenges that comes to that, we've still gotten the job done. And I would much rather be us than them going into this election cycle. Because Democrats, as noted, have no message, they have no vision, they have no leadership. They're guided solely by retribution and their blinding hatred for Donald Trump. And that is not a winning message when you go into an election year. Cory Booker announced this week that he's introducing a bill to increase the standard deduction for lower and middle class and middle income families. We've noticed that Democrats acknowledge that Republican policies are working. I got a news for Senator Booker. It's very interesting, since he and every House and Senate Democrat had opportunities to vote for the most transformational tax cuts in American history earlier this year, and every single one of them voted against it. Democrats had opportunities to vote for significant tax relief for lower and middle income families. That's what we did. To vote for tax relief for seniors. That's what we did. Tax relief for tipped and overtime workers. We did that. An increased child tax credit, increased family and medical leave, an abundance of other pro-business, pro-labor tax incentives. We voted for that. That was Republican legislation that we put on the floor and passed with no Democrat help. They voted against every single one of those things. And there's a political price to pay for that. We plan to spend the next 8 months reminding the American people of those facts. Now look, the Democrats' record is as dangerous as it is shameful. And we would be remiss if we did not address the shutdown of the Department of Homeland Security right now. Over the weekend, 2 aspiring terrorists, as you've seen, threw homemade bombs into a crowd of protesters in New York City. I won't even comment on how badly the media has misled the American people with coverage of that story, but let's talk about the reality. The more important point is that 2 terrorists nearly killed dozens of people with bombs, and the agency of the government that is specifically tasked with defending our homeland from exactly those types of threats is currently shut down, thanks to Democrats in Congress. Those bombs never exploded, thanks be to God, and countless lives were spared. But one of the attackers allegedly told police after the attack that he hoped that it would, quote, be even bigger than the Boston Marathon bombing. There was an alleged attack, a terror attack in Austin, as you know, 2 weekends ago. A bomb threat at an airport in Kansas City on Sunday. And the Department of Homeland Security is warning that the U.S. is susceptible to lone wolf and sleeper cell terror attacks on our homeland. And again, I'll repeat, all the critical agencies like CISA, the agencies that monitor bio threats and attacks on our critical infrastructure like CBP and the Coast Guard, they're all shut down right now because Democrats, as usual, are playing games. They're playing games with people's lives. We got other critical agencies like FEMA and TSA that are unfunded, experiencing significant staff shortages, and that's why travelers around the country have felt already the unfortunate effects. This weekend, airports reporting record wait times. All of that is because of the Democrat shutdown. If you missed a wedding or a funeral, you're worried about missing your flight for spring break this week, you have Democrats to blame. The Republicans have done our job. And Democrats are also to blame for the tens of thousands of TSA agents who continue to show up to work despite not having their paychecks. Those are hardworking people. They got families. They got bills to pay. They have real, regular lives, mouths to feed. And they protect our skies, and they ensure our airports are functional, and yet Democrats are blocking their paychecks. And here's the big question. Why are they doing it? Why would they do that? They know all these things are happening. Why would they do it? It's very simple. They keep showing us over and over. Why is FEMA unable to process new grant applications for natural disasters? Why are our airports so congested and unreliable? Why is our homeland so vulnerable to threats? The answer is simple, because Democrats have made the conscious political decision, crazy as it is, by word and by deed, to protect criminal illegal aliens over hardworking American citizens. That's it. Democrats have dragged the American people through multiple shutdowns now. First, to protect, remember last time, in the longest shutdown in history, last fall, their argument was they wanted to protect health care benefits for illegal aliens, and now they've jeopardized the security of every American citizen to keep criminal illegal aliens in our country. They want to fight the Department of Homeland Security and the rule of law. It's wrong and it's dangerous, and we pray that the Senates and the Democrat put the safety of their constituents over the demands of the far-left radical base in their party that they run in fear of, and vote to reopen the Department of Homeland Security immediately. With that, we'll take a few questions.